I am T. Roy, born James Johnson, a name that became well known in the streets of Chicago, particularly in Old Block, a neighborhood that shaped much of my life and ultimately my destiny. My story is a tale of loyalty, struggle, and tragedy, one that intertwines deeply with the experiences of those I called family and friends, especially my brother, King Vaughn. My life was marked by the trials and tribulations of growing up in one of the roughest parts of Chicago. From an early age, I was thrust into an environment where survival meant aligning with a group, and for me, that group was the Black Disciples. This affiliation brought a sense of belonging, but also a constant undercurrent of danger. I remember the day of my death vividly. It was February 14, 2017, Valentine's Day, a day that's supposed to be about love and togetherness. Instead, it became a day of violence and loss. That morning, I woke up with the usual routine, moving through the neighborhood, checking in with my people. The tension in the air was almost palpable, a feeling we had grown accustomed to. As the day went on, I found myself on the south side of Chicago, in the area of 75th Street and South Vernon Avenue. I knew it was enemy territory, but in our world, you sometimes have to step into hostile grounds to handle business. Around noon, I was ambushed. I remember the sound of gunfire echoing through the streets, the sudden chaos as people scattered, the sharp pain as bullets tore through my body. I fell to the ground, struggling to breathe, my vision blurring. As I lay there, life slipping away, I thought about my family, my friends, and all the moments that led up to this. I thought about Vaughn, how he would react to the news, the sorrow and anger he would feel. I was pronounced dead shortly after, another casualty in the ongoing war that plagues our streets. But my story isn't just about how I died, it's about how I lived. I was born and raised in Chicago, a city that can be both beautiful and brutal. My upbringing was tough, surrounded by poverty and violence, but it also taught me resilience and the importance of loyalty. In Old Block, we were more than just neighbors, we were a family. We looked out for each other, celebrated together, and mourned together. I was always close to Vaughn. We grew up together, faced the same hardships, and shared the same dreams. Vaughn was like a brother to me, and we had each other's backs no matter what. When Vaughn decided to pursue a career in rap, I was there to support him. His stories were our stories, and through his music, he gave a voice to our experiences. I was known for being fearless, always ready to defend my people. This reputation came with its own set of challenges, constantly being on guard, knowing that at any moment, things could take a deadly turn. But it also earned me respect and a sense of purpose. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for my community, for those who couldn't fight for themselves. Despite the constant threat of violence, there were moments of joy and laughter. I loved playing basketball, hanging out with friends, and just enjoying the simple pleasures of life. These moments were fleeting, but they were what kept us going. They reminded us that there was more to life than just the struggle. My death was a turning point for many, especially Vaughn. It fueled his music with even more raw emotion as he channeled his grief and anger into his lyrics.
But let's step back for a moment. In the days leading up to T. Roy's tragic passing, the internet buzzed with some videos that had everyone talking. These clips, which resurfaced from the depths of the web, revealed a side of Roy that was both bold and controversial. One video shot by one of his close friends showed Roy confidently declaring that he wasn't scared of any gang. In this clip, he sang a daring tune proclaiming that he couldn't be stunned by anyone because he always had his trusty gun by his side. It was a provocative statement, one that could easily ruffle the feathers of rival gangs and stir up trouble. But that wasn't the only video causing a stir online. T. Roy, in his last Instagram live video, posted footage that left many in shock. The caption read, "You run up on me, he'll shoot you. No problem." In the video, he captured himself speaking boldly, telling some unidentified people to leave him alone because he always rode with his neighborhood crew, and he wasn't scared of anyone because his gun was always with him. As these videos circulated on social media, they ignited a heated debate. Some saw Troy's words as mere bravado, while others believed he was genuinely fearless. After the days of T. Roy's death, a web of speculation swirled among T. Roy's fans. In its close circles, they couldn't help but connect the dots between T. Roy's demise and the shadowy figure of Boss Trail, also known as BT. T. Roy and BT had a feud that seemed to stretch back in time, like a feud from the pages of a history book. It was so old that nobody could pinpoint when or why it began. But one thing was for sure. The rivalry was etched deep in the streets. BT was known as a respected shooter for the STL gang, and he had a mysterious link to a shooting that sent shockwaves through the old block neighborhood. On February 16, 2012, Sharoy Liggins, a member of the Oblock, was walking out of store across the street from Oblock when Boss Trail, along with 2 members of the STL EBT, shot him across the street with a red beam. Sharoy died 4 days later on the 20th as a result of a gunshot wound to the neck. But what made this tale even more chilling was the public acknowledgement of the killer. It wasn't kept in the shadows, nah, it was out in the open for the world to see. Boss Trail, also known as BT, was credited with the murderer Sharoy, and he didn't shy away from the attention he took to Twitter, of all places. He even went as far as revealing the type of gun he had used to end Sharoy's life. A few months later, BT's tweets took an unexpected turn. He posted about leaving Chicago behind and heading to Idaho, northwestern U.S. to start anew. It seemed like a drastic change in direction, a chance to escape the darkness that had enveloped him. But fate had other plans. In the dimly lit alley where BT waited for one of his friends, someone appeared from the shadows. It was Lil Mark, also known as Quiet Money, and without warning, he sprinted up behind BT and unleashed a barrage of gunfire. After Lil Mark, also known as Quiet Money, fired those fateful shots, Boss Trail or BT fell to the ground, his back riddled with bullets. It was a grim and violent end to a story that had already seen too much bloodshed. After BT's death, his rivals couldn't resist the urge to mock him. Oblock gangs, especially guys like King Von T. Roy, J Money, and Rondo Num Benin, took jabs at BT. They revealed his downfall, and their taunts echoed through the streets. In retaliation, STL BTS crew sought vengeance. They set their sights on Lil B and J Money, turning this feud into a never-ending cycle of violence and revenge. The streets were a cauldron of simmering tensions where each act of violence seemed to spark another. Fast forward to 2017, and the streets witnessed another tragedy. T. Roy, who had been part of this intricate web of feuds and vendettas, met his violin, and it was a brutal murder that the past has a way of catching up with those who live in the shadow. As the streets of Chicago continue to echo a violence, the aftermath of T. Roy's death sparked a relentless desire for a revenge from Oblock. Some determined individuals, including Lamron, 300, THF 46, and Front Street, came together to form.
Through his songs, my story lives on, a testament to the harsh realities we faced and the bonds we forged. In the end, my life and death are a reflection of the world I was a part of. A world where young men are forced to grow up too fast, where loyalty can be both a blessing and a curse, and where violence is an ever-present shadow. But it's also a world where friendship and brotherhood can shine through the darkest times, where even in the face of adversity, we find moments of happiness and hope. I am T. Roy, a product of Chicago's South Side, a brother, a friend, a soldier. My story is one of many, a narrative that continues to play out in the streets of cities across America. Though my life was cut short, the impact I had on those around me endures, a legacy of loyalty, love, and the relentless pursuit of survival. I was born into a world that demanded toughness and resilience, and I quickly learned how to navigate the treacherous waters of Chicago's South Side. Growing up in Old Block, I was surrounded by the influence of the Black Disciples, a gang that offered protection and camaraderie in exchange for loyalty. This environment shaped me, teaching me that trust was earned through actions, and respect was something you fought for every day. My early years were marked by hardship. Poverty was a constant presence, and the threat of violence was never far away. I learned to move carefully, to always be aware of my surroundings. School was often a secondary concern, as survival took precedence. Despite the chaos, there were moments of normalcy and joy. I loved playing basketball with my friends, and those games were a rare escape from the harsh realities of our lives. In O Block, we had our own code, our own sense of justice.